Hi. Hi. It's always precarious to touch the button to start the phone to video and not change the way the phone is set up and what it's seeing. So because I have to make sure that it's getting in as much in the screen as it can. So it's always kind of a precarious setup. But gosh, I look awful pale and gross. It's just so cold. I know some of you revel in this and you're apple picking and pumpkin picking and it's fantastic. No, 3 out of 4 people in my house are freezing cold all the time now. All the time. So, all right, let's get right to it. It's Saturday. I'm happy to be back with you. We are going to switch to a new class every weekend as per the library's instructions. So we won't be doing Wednesday classes anymore. It'll just be one, most likely posted on Saturday, maybe on Sunday, but most likely sometime on Saturday. So after I post, I will put it on social media so that if you're someone who's doing the classes and that's how you find out when there's a new one, you'll know. Okay? So today, because it's cold, and because I got up and walked 5 miles this morning and I'm a little sore, my knee feels a little funky, we're just going to go deep into some really nice relaxing stretches and do a little bit more of a therapeutic class today. So you don't really need any props. You might want a blanket or a towel to sit up on like usual, but we're just going to do a lot down low and just go deep into things and focus on the low back, the backs of the legs, that tightness in between our shoulder blades that we get sometimes. But we're going to hold things a little bit longer and pay attention to our breath work and just try to get warmed up, okay? Man, I need to start wearing makeup again. Bronzer at least. Okay, get comfy on your mat. Arms at your sides, palms up. As per usual. So, I hope you are all well. Everyone's feeling good, hopefully. Lots more going on in the country, huh? 2020, man, it's just, don't stop. It's insanity. How much more can happen, right? Except you don't really want to voice that because so much more could happen, I guess. But every day it's something new and it's something crazy, and 2020. All right, you're comfy on your mat, right? You're lying down, arms are at your side, palms are up. Close your eyes, find your breath. Find your breath. I just had something great happen. I ran into the store really quick because I found this recipe the other day for a beef barley soup that just sounds really good. I don't usually gravitate towards beef, so that was unusual for me, but I keep thinking about it. Cam loves any kind of beef. So I wanted to grab a couple things that I didn't have to make that. And while I was there, obviously I cruised past the freshly grated Parmesan and hummus, which are two things that I use all the time, every day, for different things. And I found the hummus my brother's been telling me to get, except it was just ShopRite brand. It's an everything bagel hummus. So it's got the everything seasoning, but I put on eggs and stuff all the time in the hummus, and it's so good. It's all pure protein, but it tastes like an everything bagel. I was having it with some carrots and some little baby pretzels at lunch, and it's really, really good. So that's a silver lining in 2020. You can now buy everything bagel hummus. All right, eyes are closed. You know, I'm gonna come into this with you in a second, because we're gonna just get right into our therapeutic poses and start with our very first one, our twist. But what I want you to do here is start at the top of your head and work your way down your body and just take a little note of how you're feeling. You know, like I said, my right knee is a little bit funky lately. It's been really good. I think I twisted it like a week ago. And so I was taking anti-inflammatories, and I was being really careful to make sure I always put a microbend in it. And then the last couple of days it felt really good. And then today I woke up and decided to do 5 miles because on the weekend I kind of like to do that. And it just started to get a little achy just as I was finishing up. So I just took some Tylenol, and I have a little sinus headache because allergies this time of year are crummy. So those are just 2 things that I'm keeping in mind. So my knee might affect how I practice a little today. My headache won't really, but hopefully that'll go away. So that's it. All right, you're on your back. I'm going to join you in that position. And we're just going to come into our usual twist, but we're going to hold it a little bit longer, and we're going to play with it a little bit to kind of pick where we want it to target. Traditionally, that twist is a nice mid-spine twist, but depending on where you let your knees drop and your feet drop, you can kind of encourage the twist to be either higher or lower in your spine. So knees come in, and we're going to drop them over to the right, letting them go all the way to the floor. Once they go to the floor, if your left arm kind of bounces up and bubbles up, ground that down through the back of the shoulder and out through the fingertips. And then find your breath here. So this is tricky to see. I don't really know how to, let me think this through. I don't really know how to explain this to you without you really being able to see me in the same space. But I know I've said this before, and this is how you play with this twist. This is how you personalize the twist and make it your own. I'm going to use my right arm as a gauge. So right now, my feet and my knees are kind of far away from my right elbow. But if I were to pull my knees in deeper, I can feel the twist go higher up my back. And so if I were to go even deeper, the twist would go even higher. If I were to relax my legs and elongate them a little bit like I just did, then I feel it more in my low back. So this is a way that you personalize your pose, and you want to try to figure out how to do that with almost every pose. And in time it comes, you just kind of know what works for you and what doesn't. But when you're doing therapeutic poses specifically, it's really nice if you can make them meet exactly what you need them to meet, and kind of fix whatever you're feeling like you need to work on. Oh gosh. Callie. Okay, now we're going to bring the knees up to center, and we're going to come into a happy baby, or one hand on each kneecap. So one hand on each kneecap is this. Happy baby is reaching through, bottoms of the feet facing the ceiling, and just finding your movement here. We're going to hang out here for a second. We're going to keep whatever we're holding. If you're one hand on each kneecap, stay right there. If you're holding on to your big toe or the outer edges of your feet, keep your grip and just start to straighten the legs up, pressing out through the backs of the knees, letting the tailbone lift up off the ground a little bit, and just getting a really deep stretch in the back of your legs. And then come back into your happy baby. Find your movement. And bring the arms out, bring the knees in. Drop the legs over to your left. And then once the legs are down, settle the back of the right arm. Close your eyes, find your breath here. I just put some oil and some water in my diffuser. and it's the best scented oil. It's mandarin, so it has a nice orangey scent, but it doesn't just smell like orange. It smells like the rind, like the orange peel. You know how that has a very distinct scent? And it's not what's inside the orange, it's just the scent of the peel. That's what this oil smells like, and it just smells so good right now in here. So I don't know about you, but I feel this a lot in the back and outside portion of my right hip. So where my legs are seems to be working for me, but if I wanted to play with it a little bit and just see what happens, I could pull my knees in a little bit deeper, make sure the back of the right arm stays down on the ground. So when I do that, I tend to feel it more, oddly enough, right here, in the front of my arm and the front of my shoulder. My hip, it doesn't feel much different, but it was much more intense when I pulled the knees in the front of my shoulder. So maybe you'll find that too. And these are the kind of little things that you want to play with as you go through your poses, just to figure out what it targets and what it does for you. And so if you come home one day from work, or playing with your kids in the park, or whatever you did all day, and your right shoulder in the front area is super tight, you'll know that you can get yourself into this pose and you can stretch it out and you can create some space in there, and hopefully you can get it to feel better. Knees up to center. We're going to do our happy baby, or one hand on each kneecap again. Going wide, finding the movement. Bottoms of the feet facing up towards the ceiling. I feel like my voice sounds deep today. It might be my allergies in my throat a little bit. And then from here, we're going to straighten up again, just like we did before. Pressing out through the backs of the knees. Trying to relax the low back down onto the ground, even if it's feeling kind of strained and pulled right now. Back into your happy baby. Find a little bit of movement. Perfect. And then release the legs down. We're going to bring them into Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet are touching and kissing. Knees are going out to the sides. Arms can come into cactus or stay in the big T, whatever you prefer. This is a pose that you want to relax and breathe into. I know for me, because my hip is tight, it's not always the most comfortable pose, and sometimes I have to really concentrate and really pay attention to breathing and relaxing at the same time. So my inhale, like we've been talking about, is when I kind of find the structure of the pose. My exhale is when I just let it go and relax. And because I'm tight in my hips, my first instinct isn't to relax. It's not to let gravity work with me. My first instinct is to keep my knees lifted so that I don't feel that pull, even though that pull is what I need. All right, knees up. We are going to roll over to our right, or rock all the way up to sit, and come on up to hands and knees with your hands in the front corners of your mat. Okay. Got my hair chopped off this week. I don't know why, but I wanted to get in and out really quick of the salon. I just didn't want to really be there, but can't cut my own hair. And my ends were just feeling kind of gross, like over summer, like too much salt water, too much salt air, too much sun, not enough deep conditioning and coconut oil. So I texted the girl that cuts my hair the night before, and I said, how early can I come on, I think this was Thursday morning. She was like, well, how early do you want to come? And I was like, I don't know, like I'm up at 5:30. So I ended up going at 8 o'clock. I walked first. I went and got my hair cut. And when I sat down, she was like, what do you want to do? Do you just want to clean up your layers and your face frame? And I was like, no, I need you to take off like 5 inches of hair. and just make it really healthy again. So she tried to talk me out of it and do less, but I don't know, September always feels like a good time for a big haircut because it's back to school, except this year it's back to crap. So anyway, I walked out with like 4 inches less hair, but my hair definitely feels healthier, except it's a lot more work to maintain a hairstyle when it's shorter because you actually have to blow dry it and flat iron it, and you can't just pull it back into a bun with a headband. It just doesn't work the same. So I'm kind of annoyed now that I did it, but here I am. So let's start to cat and cow, shall we? So Cam is going back to school on Monday for hybrid. I have mixed feelings about it, but he's so freaking noisy all day long. All he does is scream at his screen. Makes Alex nuts, who's trying to do school in a different room. I literally end up with a headache every single day by 3 o'clock. And then when I take him to swim, and we're driving home from swim, at like 5:30, I declare it a silent night for the rest of the night, which is asking the impossible of a 9-year-old. But my brain hurts from hearing him scream all day. So that's where we're at. So that's basically why he's going back to school, because we all can't stand the constant screaming and talking. Okay, let's just do 2 more cat and cows, but let's make them really exaggerated ones. So on your inhale, press your spine up, press deep into the mat with your hands, drop your head like it's a cannonball, like it's so heavy that you can't possibly hold it up. And then inhale up. The reason I'm saying to exaggerate that part of the pose is because when I was watching my Wednesday night live class on Wednesday night, there's a couple new people in that class that are new to yoga with me. And I don't know, they're not necessarily new to yoga, but they're new to me. And when I was watching them, the one thing I noticed that was common amongst the couple of newbies is that when we do something where you really want to drop your head and relax the back of your neck and shoulders, they had a hard time doing that. I think it's just a habit. I think we're so tense and tight there that we don't know how it's supposed to feel. But I felt like I must have said it 20 times. Release the back of your neck, release the back of your shoulders. And I just want to make sure that you guys are all hearing that too, in case you're not doing it as well, because it will make a world of difference in how you feel after your practice versus, you know, how you started. So let's do one more big cat and cow. Drop that head. Inhale up, swoop forward. Perfect. Now we're going to press back into a wide knee child's pose. And I want you to go as wide as you're comfortable here to give the hips a chance to open too, okay? So big toes touch, knees go out to the sides, come on down. Okay, come on up. We are going to come down into a moving cobra, just so that we can really target that low mid back and do it in a supported, safe way. So for moving cobra, all you want to do, move your knees back, move your hands forward. You want to lean into your hands. You want your shoulders over your wrists, because when you normally come into a cobra, you're not in a cat and cow position. You're in a position with your knees behind your hips. So to get into that position from here, shoulders come forward, hips come down. Unclench your butt, because inevitably we all do that when we're in this pose, and it's going to tighten the low back. Unclench. Don't move the knees, don't move the hands, just move the hips back. This is the moving cobra part of the pose. Move on your inhale forward. Come into your cobra, drop the shoulders, unclench. Unclench means the butt. That's what I'm talking about, in case you're not sure what I mean. Unclench your butt. Press back. again, inhale forward and unclench. Adjust your shoulders. Make sure you have a little bend in your elbow. Unclench. Broken record. I know, I'm sorry. And then come all the way down, and we're going to windshield wiper our legs. So bend up at your knees and just flop from side to side. This, surprisingly, is a nice little low back adjustment. You wouldn't think it. You might not necessarily feel it, but you're staying pretty grounded through your torso and the mat. The hips move a little bit from side to side. The hips are kind of on the outside areas of your low back. So you're getting a little bit of a low back twist here, but in a very controlled, safe way. Okay, now we're just going to do a quick quad stretch since we're down here. Prop yourself up on your left forearm. Keep the right leg bent up. This is important here. This is one of those little naggy yoga things, but this is really important. You don't want to reach for the outside of your foot. You don't want to reach for the outside of your ankle. If you can't hold the inside of your foot with your thumb pointing up, then just hold on to your pants or something. The reason that it's important that you hold the inside with the thumb up is because I can bend my elbow behind me. See how I can bend my elbow behind me? And I have full range of motion in my shoulder. If I were to hold the other side of my foot, my elbow locks right here, and my shoulder locks when my elbow locks. So in order to keep a nice full range of motion, you want to hold the inside of your foot with your thumb pointing up, and then you want to go out to the side a little and just pull down enough, let the elbow bend in, just enough that you feel this in the front of your quad. That's kind of why we're doing it. Anything in yoga that lessens your range of motion is not a good thing. You always want to figure out how to have the most range of motion in the most space, especially in one of your big joints like shoulders or hips. Nice deep breathing on this, and this is a lot like what we were talking about last week. When you inhale, kind of adjust yourself in the pose. When I inhale, I pull my foot down a little. I might go out to the side a little. When you exhale, allow your body to settle. Allow the tension to leave. If this pose is at all uncomfortable and causing you to be tight, on the exhale, try to release that. So big breath in. And as you exhale, settle. I wish you guys could smell this. This orange smells so amazing. And I didn't know it until, windshield wiper for a minute, until today, that my essential oil diffuser has it's got like different color lights in it, and I always just do the white light because I don't like all the different color lights. I didn't realize it, but it has one that's a lot warmer, and it's more like a golden white kind of color, but it makes the whole thing flicker like a candlelight, and it's very pretty. So that's what I keep looking at because I didn't know it existed, and I've had this diffuser for probably almost 2 years now, but I don't know. I don't pay attention to stuff like that. Okay, left leg is going to stay bent up, left arm. So remember what you're doing. If you start with your palm out, your thumb down, and you make a big rainbow motion, you will automatically get the inside of your foot with your thumb up. And again, I can bend my elbow, which is what I'm going for. If you can't hold the foot there, then you can use a strap. You can grab your pants. You can hold the foot down lower, like more towards the ankle, but you just want to hold the inside with the thumb up. That's important here. And then again, you inhale, pull your leg into position, adjust, exhale, relax and release the tension. And rather than bring your foot straight down towards your tush and try to, kick your tush with your heel like 13-year-old people can do, bring the knee out, bring the foot out to the side a little bit and leave some space in your knee. You don't want to cramp the back of your knee. Okay, Okay, come on back, windshield wiper again. One more time, Marianne Healy. I hope you're taking this class because look at all this windshield wipering going on that I know you enjoy. Okay, we are going to come back up onto hands and knees, and we're going to do a quick forearm stretch. We haven't done this in a while, and this is a good one. So we are going to turn our hands in, right? Got that? And then we're going to turn them in more. And we're going to press really firmly down into our mat with the whole back heel palm of our hand, that part of our palm that's closest to the top of our wrist. And we're going to keep our hands rooted to the mat like they're glued to the mat, but we're going to start to move our hips back, 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 and we're going to feel this all up on the inside of our forearms. So this is one that you can control, you can self-regulate, right? The more you move your hips back and the firmer you keep your hands planted, the bigger the stretch is. Alright, turn the hands back around. Come into your wide knee child's pose. So this is going to be one of those disjointed three-piece videos because my phone rang once. It rang one time a few minutes ago and I didn't realize that it turned off the whole video. So we just finished with the child's pose. We just finished doing our quad stretches. We're going to come onto our hands and knees and we're going to go through a quick little low lunge series that I thought was all already on tape, but it's not. So cat and cow for a minute. The dog is waking up, but she'll settle. Cat and cow for a minute. I love that quad stretch. I don't feel like my quads in general are tight, but whenever I do a quad opener in yoga, I realize that they are tighter than I thought because I really enjoy the release that I get. Come back into a hands and knees. What we're going to do for our low lunge is step up with our right foot. Hands come to the inside of the foot. We're just going to shift our weight forward so that we get this in the front of the left hip as well as deep into the right hip. And to make this a little more intense in the right hip, you can lift your foot up and roll your knee out to the side. You don't have to do that, but if you do, it goes a little bit deeper into the socket, which is kind of nice. You're there anyway, right? You're doing it anyway, so you might as well just suck it up and make it a little bit bigger, I think. I don't know if that's really what yoga teachers are supposed to say, suck it up, but sometimes it's what you have to do. And then come back down. We're going to shift our weight back, straighten our front leg, pull the toes back. So you can either pull them back using your hand or you can just muscularly pull them back and come into a flexed foot. You'll feel this in the arch all up and down the back of your leg. She just woke up, and this is what she does. She cries to get out, but I'll let her out as soon as we're done here. Oh, girlfriend, I know, but I can't let you out because you chew my mat. Come on up. We're going to make this a little bit of a rotating twist. We're going to stay low, so we're going to keep our foot down and our left hand down. Right hand comes to right hip. Twist and look over the right shoulder. Extend the right arm up. Nice deep breathing here. And then bring the hand down. Step back. and cat and cow for just a second. I've really come to love cat and cow over the last couple of months as a really good transitional pose in between all the other stuff. When you're down low on the ground anyway, it just makes sense to go into your cat and cow. So now we're going to do the same little sequence on the other side. We're going to step forward with the left foot, and we're going to bring our hands to the ground on the inside of the left foot, shift our weight forward. We can roll onto the outer edge of that foot to go deeper into the hip, or like I said before, you don't have to. It's up to you. Either way, you're getting a really good hip opener, so you can either make it bigger or you can keep it the way it is, whatever feels best. Now we're going to straighten that front leg out in front of you, but remember I said my knee felt a little funky. I don't want to sit all the way back on that knee, so I'm going to just manually straighten my leg out, pull the toes back, and just not sit as low onto my right heel as I did on the other side. I just don't want to put that big of a bend in my knee. And then come on up, and we're going to do our revolving twist. Right hand is going to stay down, left hand comes to left hip. Twist yourself open and extend your arm up. Bring it down. From here, we're going to go back into hands and knees, but then we're going to shoot up into a downward dog, but we're going to hold for a minute, and we're just going to do a little something different with it. You can try it if your balance feels good. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. Come on up into your dog. Drop your heels, bend your knees. Make this feel better than it does maybe if you haven't done one for a few days. All right, so all I want you to do here is take your right hand, reach for the outside of your left knee, turn yourself under to look underneath your left underarm. If you're not sure what I mean, take a look up at the screen. And then bring the left hand back down and come back into your regular dog. Same thing on the other side. Shift your weight into your right hand. Left arm lifts up, reaches for the outside of the right knee. Come on back into your dog. Nice deep breathing here. Drop the heels, stretch out the back of the calves and the hamstrings if you're able to. And then come on down onto hands and knees. Grab your blanket, your towel, whatever it is you sit up on. And come wide. Look at that little spot of sun. That looks pretty. Okay, so let's just move in a circle with our upper body. Sometimes you get a good crack when you're doing this. Sometimes not so much, but if you're lucky, you get some kind of little adjustment, right? Go in the other direction. Perfect. Come on down to the middle. It's a nice smooth transition to do the rotation and then to slide right down into the middle. That always just feels like it's meant to be to me. hands over to your right. Come on down into a little twisting forward bend. Check out your pedicure. See what the status is. I've gone twice since they allowed salons to open, but honestly I just found it so unrestful. You know, pedicures used to be just so enjoyable and relaxing. I just found it so unrestful that I just haven't made the time to go back. So the other day I really needed to do something because my polish was really dull and gross from so many days at the beach in August. So I just took it off and slapped on like this sheer pink that I like a lot that I wear, that you can't really screw up because it's so sheer. Oh my goodness. Almost done, puppy. Almost done. But, you know, doing it yourself isn't the same either. The bottoms of my feet still feel gross. It's just gross. It's a gross world that we're living in right now. One more time, back to center. And then come on up. So now I think the third little bit of this crazy video will be Shavasana. And that can go, that can stop. That can be ended. So lay on your back, arms at your side, palms up. And I'm going to turn this off, but then when I splice it all together, I'm pretty sure that the third part is Shavasana. So let's keep our fingers crossed. My phone just rang. I think that screwed up the video. But we were doing forward bends, right? So now you're just going to go down to lie on your back, and you're going to go into Shavasana. So, annoying that my phone rang, but could have been at a worse time. At least we were done. So, lie on your back, get comfy. So that was a pretty basic, simple practice. A little bit of a lot of things. I hope that felt good for you, and I hope it hit all the areas that you needed it to hit. Nice deep breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. Do what you did at the beginning. Start at the top of your head and work your way down your body, and just notice how you're feeling. Hopefully things feel loose, they feel long, they feel like you've created space where you didn't have space before. Sometimes a really nice, long, deep yoga practice is exactly what you need. And sometimes you just need a half hour of moving. You know, and I know for me that very often I just need the moving. I was texting with my best friend's sister today, who is a yoga teacher in San Diego. And I said, Mandy, give me an idea of what to teach today. I'm not really sure what to do. She was like, well, I tend to just, you know, kind of off the cuff at the last minute. And, you know, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I was like, oh, darn it. I was like, that's what I do too. I was hoping you were more by the book and you would actually give me a lesson plan. But I know for me, with my practice, which is kind of what these classes have evolved into, like, what do I need to practice today, because that's what we're going to do. If I listen to my body and I just try to figure out what my body's telling me it needs, and then just incorporate some things around that, that usually works out pretty well. So I always hope it's good for you. I always hope you come a little achy. Well, I don't hope you come a little achy, but I always hope you leave feeling better than, you know, when we first start. So if that's what happened today, then we did good. Just a couple more deep breaths lying here. Feeling your body settle. Feeling the heaviness, because now everything's in alignment, everything's connected, everything's the way it should be. Take a big long stretch. Point your toes towards the space away from you. Bring your arms up above. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms out through the wall behind you. And then when you're ready, pull everything in. Roll over to your right hand side and come up to a comfortable seated position. Hands to your heart in prayer. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep full breath in. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Namaste. Thank you guys. I will see you. Remember, I will see you next weekend, not Wednesday. Dog is waking up. Not Wednesday. The library is going to 1 class a week now. It's not too late if you want to sign up to take outdoor classes. We're going on to our 4th class, but it's a 10-class session, and it's only $50 for the whole session. So even if you missed the first 3 classes and you still got 7 for $50, it's still a really good price, and we'll have a lot of fun. So it's up to you, but if you want to do that, we're live Wednesday night, 6:30 to 7:30 at the Panther Park softball field, and you sign up online through Parks and Rec. Okay? If not, I will see you here next Wednesday, next Saturday. See, the cold is going to my brain already. I will see you here next Saturday. Have a good week. Stay healthy. Do a little yoga in between. And if you see me out and about walking early in the morning, give me a holler. Okay? Take care, guys. Thank you. Bye.